We have a question from Eddie, and Eddie says, "Good morning, my favorite superhero, Dan John." Well, you're not supposed to know that I'm a superhero, but I don't wear a mask. "I have been following you for years. I got most of all your books, and I love them." Well, thank you. "One of the many reasons I'm a fan of your work is your ability to think in real time about strength and conditioning outcomes and solve problems. I know you're into making big jumps in weight and add volume to increase the strength output. That being said, somebody made a comment that if a weight doesn't go up incrementally, no other tool will work for strength, such as adding more volume." You know, Eddie, and I didn't mention the person you quoted because I don't think that's true. This idea of adding, like, I don't know, half an ounce a day to your training might work good, but where in your life where in your life do things improve linear? Maybe you could look over your income over your lifetime, and it would go like this. But I can almost guarantee that if you got really close, not year by year by year, but month by month by month, there would be a lot of ups and downs, dips and dashes. Boy, I was just doing a workshop this last week, and I was talking about, I think load is by far the easiest way to progress people. And the problem is, because it's the easiest, it can also be an issue sometimes. Now, let's pull out Olympic lifters and powerlifters, okay? But I think you can change and make progress by switching reps and sets, like you mentioned a few times, Eddie, getting more volume in, cutting back on volume, by the way, is a really good way to get strong, and it all works. But I also like to shift exercises. I mean, if you really want to increase your bench press, stop benching with a barbell and start bench pressing with a machine. You'll notice almost immediately your lifts go up because the machine takes care of all kinds of issues for you. At least I found that to be true. So changing exercises is a great way to change your progressions. Maybe I shouldn't use bench press so quickly, but as you slide up in the family of lifts, but from something as simple as the deadlift to something a little bit more complex as the Olympic snatch, when you regress back down to the deadlift and maybe slide out to the snatch grip deadlift, you're going to find that things are very complementary with an E in there, not with an I. So I think you make progress, obviously, through load, easy one. Change in volume, change in reps and sets, which aren't exactly the same thing. 5 sets of 5 is the same amount of volume as 1 set of 25, but most people would quickly figure out that it's real hard to use big weights on 1 set of 25. I also think we need to build in regressions and corrections. That's the idea of switching exercises when you see a gap or a need. I'm not sure why someone would say you can only get, and I got to be careful here, strength and conditioning outcomes by only adding load. It just seems very narrow, and it doesn't reflect the thousands of years that humans have been trying to improve in athletics. It's very hard to do anything in a linear fashion at a high quality. There are times, the old, there's a lot of cliches, was today the last day of today, live today like it's the last day of your life. That's a different way to look at linear progression, I guess. If I'd sure like to know exactly when I was going to die, because it would really help me with my investment strategies, I'll tell you that. I don't agree with it. I think it's a lot more, and I got to be careful. I was about to say it's more of a matrix, but the problem with the word matrix now is it has a connotation with the movies and stuff. But I do see it as much more as a rainbow. There's a lot of tastes and flavors to it, and no one option has ever worked historically to get people into elite performance, or which would obviously mean heavy lifts. Okay. I hope I did a good job answering that, Eddie. It doesn't even follow at the most low level of logic to me. But thanks for asking, okay? Much appreciated.